Earth Day 2, 2019. What was that? Inflection of disbelief muttered with the final examination of eternity. To whom do I owe this honor? Insurrection of mad gnashing teeth on bobblehead dolls who want to be alive. Hark now, the woman's essence, the lust for life. Transcendence mixed with desire. No amoebic struggle to move vast distance, catapulted through perceivable nothing space, and then spanked by itself with the desire that transcendence capitulated and desire to be free of. Resist one and become the other. To not resist is to see reality in pure form. All space reverberating, imagination matrix floating parallel to physical sightline, mouth moving to keep up. The measuring thing in the projector room, but it's not measuring, it's growing, and growth is an indication of life, whereas measuring is an indication of observing life. Now, I resist measurement, and I measure my resistance to it. The principled symmetrical butterfly wing matrix. This sort of mind relation is the mode of acceleration, or better yet, it goes so fast it appears as a solid. Now, jump to being on the moon. You and I behold a relatively petite, solid, perceived at a rate of time anti-derivated to whatever distance you initially stood next to the object on Earth at. Now, the postulation of the God that looks through my eyes, yearning to be loved, but now getting high instead of in unison with the other gods, but still of the other gods, silly and sticky transcendence. The postulation is as follows. At some point, the object will enter a static reprieve state, which will be similar to a sonic boom, the speed ejaculation that sheds sound of its physical body, of course, but wholly much more similar and almost identical to the revealing of a supremely massive, positively charged proton-neutron mass the size of a Coca-Cola machine to the external, negatively charged world. The presence of such a tremendous, positively charged mass is a nuclear bomb suspended in presence form. Except the process happens with continuous, consistent speed versus a momentum hammer drop that comes to a complete stop instantaneously, otherwise known as a period of temporary anti-gravity. And then, the full force of gravity applied for the first time after the temporary transcendence of the universe. Full and total, undeniable attraction. In the case of our reflective red plastic soda machine looking object, slightly curved to a 0.03% when measured against a perfectly flat, straight, perceivable only with math, rather than the imperfect human eye. 0.03% to make up the imperfection ratio of 99.7% oppositely curved trajectory. Why can't and has not a sphere ever reached 100% perfection? Tell me, man unit, tell me. Well, the olive-drinking Greeks knew, or they knew of it, the world of forms. But they may not have known why. If the total surface of an object becomes 100% perfection, it is now out of relation, because it will meet no resistance. It is the abdicator of gravity in the apocalypse of friction. Every object now must be 100% perfect in relation to this object now. But when you send 100% perfect sphere through 100% perfectly hollowed out cylindrical column of perfectly equal diameters in corresponding two-dimensional and three-dimensional proportions, the sphere either slides right through instantaneously with no resistance, or it does not enter at all, by the spontaneous occurring variable law of impossibility. This is because they do not need each other. They do not see each other. They do not feel each other. One says nothing, the other says nothing. They are now code. The predestined, erroneous nature of having no relation other than in relation to non-existence, imperfection, in comparison to the full, total, all-consuming reality of perfection. To clarify, like butter, this is their universal role as code. That which is written upon, but never meant to see the light of life. For a perfect eye sees wholly white when looking at black, and wholly black when black converges at the center of its properly iris pupil. Nothing is received. Come on. It is of no relation other than its isness and its is-nothingness. What coulda, shoulda, woulda, how'd it gonna be, brother, from the absence of rubber? Now, back to the speed jump. At some point in its speed progression, acceleration when not snapshots of eternity, of course, the red metallicized plastic object will begin to emerge out of its statically charged storm field created with its relationship to the atmosphere. That is, until its speed becomes significant enough to make it behave as a single particle driven to new heights of acceleration through a tremendous equator-sized electromagnetic field ring. Purple mountain majesties. Oh my. At some point, it will shed the field as the sound shed the object. Upon leaving the electromagnetic field behind, the red plasticized metallic object will be stripped of its self-defined electrons, and now mostly positive force will attract the shedded field body cloud of negativity, which will race at the heights of desperation to catch it, the only it. The electron storm that is at the edge of the wide-hole donut-shaped perpetual vacuum trajectory created by the freed-from field, endlessly accelerating red plastic-looking metal field, now rectangular prismed in rainbow obeisance. Actually, if I may interject this trajectory, I partially negate this hypothesis of atomic love and reform myself into a more dynamic intuition. As soon as the red metallicized metallico object of plasticization leaves its electromagnetic field, it shall either be pulled backwards through time towards the electromagnetic field, depending on the initial method of propulsion and the duration thereof. The freed field of negativity will now also hurtle towards the object. At the moment of unification, or pseudo-unification, an explosion of atomic degree and or a jump to warp speed, as the electromagnetic field now becomes a catalyst of parabolic propulsion as an accumulation of negative charge in a virtually absent cylindrical-like rocket fashion. The negative pushing itself away from all the negatively charged emerging waves at the edge of the vacuum donut shape that both increased acceleration and ensured the trap, the containment. The supreme atomic red metallic alpha omega object may also leap for a briefest nano moment, synonymous with time skipping, up and out of the electromagnetic transcendental world hurricane. Consequently, the negative storm itself will choose the Earth for a nano moment and ground out, but will then, just past the instance in which it grounds out, open a chargeless vacuum which the nano-leaping object will fill just past the instance, and then the negative will re-emerge and unground, thus providing quicker acceleration than before. Thusly, I believe this is a trailing off of a dream child of a perpetual motion device, wherein whom motion is so tremendous and unstoppable, it appears motionless. To man, woman, child, dog, god, this is otherwise known as a solid object, much like a table or a dildo. At some point, the reddest of all objects will be everywhere at once, and the molecules in the atmosphere will be attracted to it everywhere at once.